If you're playing your free hit chip in FPL Game Week 34, then this is the video for you. We're going to be showing you all the teams to target in a free hit, what players to be going for, how many of each team I will be going for in my free hit team, and showing you a free hit team that I'm looking at for my personal team. If you're an FPL fan and you're not subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? This is the place to be for daily FPL content. So hit subscribe on this channel, drop a like as well if you do want to enjoy the video, and let's jump into it. So we've got to start off by talking about the teams to target for this free hit chip in Game Week 34. Now, of course, all the teams that doubled in Game Week 33 do not play in Game Week 34. That is why we'll be using the free hit chip, because most of our teams will be full of players that have double game weeks in Game Week 33 and therefore blank in 34. So the free hit chip is kind of the best way out of this situation. Now, looking at the teams that we can be targeting, the three newly promoted teams all play in this blank game, which is very much ideal because we know this season they've been very poor, the newly promoted teams, and they all have fixtures, and the opposition teams definitely have some players that we could be targeting going ahead into that game. With a few other nice fixtures as well, you're looking at that Liverpool game against Spurs. There's some pretty nice fixtures to be targeting in this blank game. It could be a real big opportunity to get a green arrow this week. So we've got to start off by talking about the whipping boys. Now, Newcastle versus Ipswich is definitely an opportunity to maybe be tripling up on this Newcastle side. Now, in terms of options, I've got three options there. I think a defensive option is very good. I think Livramento is probably the best option in terms of attacking output, and he should be pretty nailed on to play that game as well. If not, there's also Dan Burn as well. There's a few, obviously, Newcastle defenders that you could go for. One midfielder, we need to see how Jacob Murphy gets on in Game Week 33. There's also Harvey Barnes, who's been great recently. We need to see again how he gets on in Game Week 33. The game's currently on as I'm recording this. Harvey Barnes is starting with Jacob Murphy as well. So I guess we need to see how that game kind of goes to see who we choose as our midfielder, because there's obviously Anthony Gordon who can come into the mix as well for Newcastle. Now, as well as that, there is Alexander Isak, of course. He could be a great captain option. Against Ipswich at home is such a nice fixture for Newcastle. And Newcastle are the absolute informed team right now. As I say, that Ollie Watkins has literally just scored 30 seconds in, which is absolutely hilarious considering I was thinking of bringing him into my team. But as I say, Newcastle before this 30-second period were the informed team in the Premier League, and they got a great fixture against Ipswich, who have been very poor, of course, over the course of the season. And it's not even their fault at the end of the day. Ipswich are in such a difficult situation, and playing against teams like Newcastle, you'd expect Newcastle to really put a few goals past them. As for another fixture against the whipping boys, it's Southampton and Fulham who go up against each other. Now, Fulham assets are very interesting because there's not a lot of FPL assets that are absolute standouts where you think I have to have them in my team. Early on in the season, Raul Jimenez was definitely an option, but he's not been getting the minutes as much as he was at the start of the season. Then you've also got Munoz who's come into the mix now, but his minutes haven't exactly been great. He's kind of like a 60-minute, 70-minute player right now. And he's not absolutely nailed on, in my opinion, because he could drop out of the team for Raul Jimenez at any point. So it's very risky going for Fulham forwards. Now, the other two options for me is either a Fulham goalkeeper in Leno or a Fulham defender as well in Anthony Robinson. We know Anthony Robinson's so good going forward, picks up a lot of assists. And with an ideal fixture against Southampton, who did actually pick up a point and played very well against West Ham today, but Anthony Robinson does look like a very good option defensively. In the midfield, you do have Alex Iwobi, but then it's another thing of, there's going to be a lot of good options in Game Week 34. Is Alex Iwobi, does he feel like a bit of a boring option? Yes. Could he do very well against Southampton? Also, yes. It is an away fixture as well, and as I say, Southampton, under pretty much no manager right now, as Juric left, they did play well against West Ham, so definitely not an easy fixture as maybe people make it out to be. I do think Southampton might be able to do alright against Fulham, to be honest, but as far as Fulham options, I think Anthony Robinson's a clear standout. Alex Iwobi's decent, but we'll show you my free hit team a bit later on in the video, where there's just a few other good midfielders as well, and is Alex Iwobi really like an exciting pick? In my opinion, he's just not that exciting, in my personal opinion. And then Munoz, I'm just not a fan of. Leno, I think, decent maybe in goal as well. As for the final fixture against a newly promoted team, that is Wolves versus Leicester. Now, Wolves have been very good of late. They've been in absolute form. Strand Larsen's been incredible. Aina has been getting attacking contributions. Cunha's come back into the mix after coming back from his suspension. So there's three really good options. I do think a triple up on Wolves could be a very good option. You could even go for a double up on the Wolves defence as well. You can also go for Jose Sarr in goal to link it up with Aina and then go for either Strand Larsen or Cunha, or you could go for maybe just Aina with two Wolves forwards as well in Strand Larsen and Cunha. We just need to kind of see what the minutes are like for the Wolves forwards. So I think it does look decent there. The fixture looks very good. Leicester, over the course of this year, have been absolutely terrible. They were good against Brighton the last time they played. At the time of recording this video, they were very good. But other than that, Leicester have been absolutely terrible, and Wolves have been very good of late. So I do think a triple up on Wolves is the way to go. And as I say, I think Jose Sarr's good in goal. I think Aina is good at the back. I think Strand Larsen's good up front. And I think also Cunha is good up front as well. So some good options from Wolves in a very nice fixture at home as well. I do expect Wolves to do quite well in that game against Leicester. And another one of the whipping boys, I mean, it may be a little bit harsh that I put them in, but Spurs, they kind of have been kind of whipping boys over the course of the season. You look at them where they are in the table, and they're playing against top of the league Liverpool, I do think a triple up on Liverpool could be a very good option. Now again, in terms of FPL options, in terms of like absolute nailed on players, other than obviously Mo Salah, the options aren't great because I think Trent's coming back from injury. I think if Conor Bradley's 100% going to start the game, I think I prefer Conor Bradley to Van Dijk in my personal opinion. Obviously for that attacking output, and Conor Bradley getting very far forward as a fullback. Of course, Mo Salah's an absolute no question whatsoever. And as well as that, as a captain option, I think he could be great against Spurs as well. Obviously, Liverpool, you'd expect to put a few goals past Spurs, and especially with Spurs being in the Europa League as well. And Postecoglou said that he's going to have to kind of rest a few players for the Europa League games. And obviously their focus isn't on the league in the slightest. It's all on the Europa League right now. So Mo Salah I think is a great option for this week as captaincy against Spurs. But then as a third option, it's like, who do you go for? You've got Luis Diaz, whose minutes have been... I mean, it's been kind of up and down for Luis Diaz. Sometimes he can play 90. Sometimes he gets subbed off. Sometimes he's not even starting. I guess we need to see the Liverpool game and see what the minutes are kind of like in the Leicester game. But, as I say, nothing's guaranteed for Luis Diaz in terms of minutes. You got Gakpo, of course, as well. You got Jota. You got a lot of players that can kind of play in that forward line. And is Luis Diaz absolutely guaranteed minutes? Or 90 minutes? Absolutely not. You would expect him to start, and if he's starting in that game against Spurs, I think he could do very well. So I do really like the option of Luis Diaz in the midfield for Liverpool. So here's kind of a team that I've put together now. It's got a lot of players, and it's a full 15-man squad, which are players that I do like the look of. I want to speak about Nottingham Forest versus Brentford as well. I think Chris Woods could be a really good option there. You've also got Milenkovic at the back. Forest have kept a lot of clean sheets over the course of this season. Milenkovic has also got that goal threat as well. So I don't mind Milenkovic as an option. But this is the starting 11 that I went for. I went for Jose Sarr in goal. As I say, you could swap out Chris Wood. You could maybe bring in a different keeper. There's Leno on the bench you could maybe go for. Yeah, you kind of swap it around. You can go for a different striker in Cunha if you wanted to. But as I say, I want to see Cunha's minutes before I properly make a decision on him. Then Anthony Robinson, I think it's a great option against Southampton. Obviously for the attacking threat, the clean sheet potential is very good. Now Van Dijk I've gone for just for the the 100% nailed factor. That's why I've gone for him in defence, and I do think it's a decent enough fixture against Spurs. And as I say, Spurs have I wouldn't even say one eye on the Europa League. I think they've got both their eyes and every single eye on that Europa League semi-final that they've got. So will they be focused on the league? I'm not so sure at all. Although they probably will want to build a bit of momentum at least going into that Europa League semi-final. Then Aina, I think Aina's got to be in everybody's team realistically, just because great fixture, great chance of a clean sheet, great going forward as well. So I think Aina is someone that's going to be very popular in this free hit. Then I've gone for Mo Salah in midfield as captain. I do slightly prefer Salah to Isak just because Isak's not been in unbelievable form in the last few weeks. Newcastle have scored a lot of goals, but Isak hasn't really been as involved in the goals as what you would have hoped considering how many goals Newcastle scored. So I think Salah for me, I'm edging that for captain, but as I say, it's very close between the two. We'll see how they both get on in the game week. Then we do have Jacob Murphy. As I say, this could be Anthony Gordon, this could be Harvey Barnes, it could be Jacob Murphy. We need to just kind of see how the minutes are going to go and just kind of predict it from there. Jacob Murphy's in red hot form as well. We've actually gone for Jarrod Bowen in midfield. I've got Bruno Fernandes on the bench. There's also Justin Kluivert. It could be an option. Bruno and Justin Kluivert do play against each other, but I do like Jarrod Bowen. He's in form at the moment. And Brighton, I mean, they just came off the back of a loss to Brentford, conceded a lot of goals, and I don't mind Jarrod Bowen as a punt. He always seems to just chip in with goals for West Ham. Very consistent, very reliable. So I don't mind the Jarrod Bowen shout. Maybe it's a bit of a differential shout, I'd say, there, in terms of the midfielders, but I don't mind it at all. But if you prefer kind of a Bruno Fernandes or Justin Kluivert or somebody else, then absolutely valid, absolutely fair enough. But I do kind of like the option of going for Jarrod Bowen on this free hit as a little bit of a differential. I put Luis Diaz in there, and as I say, I need to kind of see the minutes, and I'll be able to, as it gets close to the deadline, we'll have kind of more information on Diaz, on whether he's a good option or not to go for on this free hit. But I do quite like the look of him with the fixture that he's got. I think it could be very good for Luis Diaz. Then we're going for Isak. Don't really need to explain it. Could be captain, could not be captain, but I think he's going to be in everybody's teams realistically. Chris Wood, I don't think he's going to be as popular as maybe people think this week due to the fact, they've got Cunha, Strand Larson, but I do think Chris Wood could do very well against Brentford. Brentford do concede goals, and Nottingham Forest, of course, chasing Champions League. They'll want to be getting a result in this game, and Chris Wood recently coming back from injury. Hopefully he can get his shooting boots on if he's in my team. If he's not in my team, then I don't want him to have his shooting boots on in the slightest. Then we do have Strand Larson. Now, I do think he's going to be in a lot of people's free hit team. He's going to be very popular. Of course, with the fixture, with the form that he's in, he's going to be a bit of a no-brainer, I feel like most people are going to be going for him in their team, and understandably so. Then on the bench, honestly, starting all these players, I'm not even mad at. Probably I wouldn't start Kerkez, though, but I mean, he's not even a bad option. Did keep a clean sheet today. It was against 10-men Palace, though. But then we got Leno. You could start Leno and go, and I wouldn't even be mad, but would I trust that Fulham double up away against Southampton? I think one Fulham defender is enough for me personally. Bruno Fernandes, we'll see how he gets on against Wolves in the fixture this week in Game Week 33. On the bench, I don't know if I'll be starting him or not. He's not a bad option. He's definitely someone we need to be considering as that kind of like fifth midfielder at this point, the fifth choice midfielder, or the fourth choice midfielder, however way you look at it. Bruno Fernandes could just sneak in to our midfield. Then we've got Milenkovic, who of course, attacking threat, clean sheet potential. Don't mind it at all. He might be quite popular this week just due to the fact that Forest have kept a lot of clean sheets over the course of the season. And then Kerkez as well. I mean, I'm probably not going to be playing him, let's be real, but I just thought I'd put him in there on third in the bench, just as another option. He's got a good attacking threat, and United isn't even a bad fixture, because United as well are another team in the Europa League that are in the Europa League and probably won't take the Premier League as seriously due to the fact that, again, like Spurs, they'll have their eyes on that Europa League tie. So let me know what you think of that team in the comment section down below. Let me know who you think I've missed. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. It'd be very greatly appreciated. It takes 1 second. Subscribe to the channel. If you watched this point, you may as well hit subscribe. So please do subscribe. As I say, it's a rule on this channel. If you watch to the end of the video, hit subscribe. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.